Recording in progress.
Jai Sadgurudev. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining this wonderful divine session where we are going to discuss today about Vihangam Yoga. What is Vihangam Yoga? What is the importance of Vihangam Yoga and why it is important for us to be with it? We are going to discuss today on this particular topic with Sant Shri Naamdeo ji. This session will be for roughly around 1.5 hours, but this will include, just like as we did yesterday, an interactive session. You may have some question to ask Sansri. Please feel free to keep yourself ready. Raise your hands, put your questions on the chat box if you have any, or otherwise on Slido also, we will be picking up those questions from there. Today's session is very important because we are discussing about Vihangam Yoga. You might have heard about those who are new, you might have heard about Vihangam Yoga. Definitely during this 30 days global meditation challenge, everywhere Vihangam Yoga is mentioned, but probably the inquisitiveness is there. What is Vihangam Yoga? How it is different? Why does it exist? How does it exist? And all those kind of questions you may have today, we will have the answers, solutions for all those questions. So what we do in this particular session today, as usual, we will start with just a little bit of introduction about Vihangam Yoga, just in terms of its normal establishment and other things. But in detail, Sant Shri Naamdeo Ji Maharaj will speak about Vihangam Yoga. Thereafter, we will have Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan, which is the prayer we invoke to the Master for his presence, and then we invite Sant Shri Naamdeo Ji Maharaj for his divine discourse to bless us. And thereafter, vote of thanks, and then Shanti part. And thereafter, if anyone has more questions, they may ask questions as per their convenience. So let me give you a little bit of a glimpse about Vihangam Yoga, which we have been giving in this every session. So Vihangam Yoga is basically an NGO which is pioneer in yoga and advanced meditation training, aiming to uplift the human life in all aspects. His Holiness Himalaya Yogi Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj established this organization in 1924, 98, 99 years ago. Next year, we are going to celebrate 100th year of Vihangam Yoga. Last year, in December 2021, we celebrated 98th anniversary, 98th establishment anniversary of Vihangam Yoga, where in India, where the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji was a chief guest to address everyone from the stage. At present, His Holiness Sadguru Swatantra Dev Ji Maharaj is leading this organization. But just one thing I would like to emphasize here, which many of us know. In terms of physical appearance, probably one or other person may feel like there are different people. But the Sadguru is an entity which is having the same power of eternal master. So Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj and thereafter traditionally Swatantra Devji Maharaj, they are physically they may appear different, but ultimately the flow of the power, the divine power, the supreme power is same. So that's why there should not be any difference if we consider between Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, Sadguru Dhamchand Devji Maharaj, Sadguru Swatantra Devji Maharaj. No, there is no difference. It's all the same. The importance is of the power. That's what the beauty of Vihangam Yoga. This organization is, the main office is situated in Prayagraj in India, but there are more than 300 plus centers all over the globe, roughly around 45 to 50 countries. We have the presence, and more than 5 million people are connected, getting benefit from this particular wonderful practice and the divine experience of Vihangam Yoga. We have affiliation with United Nation ECOSOC long back, I think almost a decade before. We have a very unique meditation center called Swarved Mahamandir, which is based in Varanasi. It is so huge that more than 20,000 people can sit inside this structure to meditate at one time. This is still under construction, being beautified in a lot many different ways. It has many unique features which you will be able to understand and learn once you visit that place. So we always recommend everyone to go and visit this place to feel, to experience the divine power floating around in this particular center. So anytime from whichever country you are from, if you visit India, please take out some time to visit this center at least to experience the spirituality within yourself. With this, now let us move towards the Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan. We have Leela ji, who has joined from Italy. Right now, she is in India, but she is from Italy. She is an quite senior disciple of Sadgurudev. I request Leela ji to pray for the Sadguru's presence in terms of Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan. Leela ji, please.
Jai Sadgurudev. Pranam to Shri Sant Naamdeo ji Maharaj and to all. Jai Sadgurudev. Swagat Gan. आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवार संत शुभागम आध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोमरस बरसाइए दोष दूर गुण दूर करिके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए वेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वारा हटाइए खोले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन हनवाइए जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शानहान बचाइए मंगल गान विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु पूज्याये वर्ग द्वंद्व अशांति दूर कर भाव भेद मिटाइए सार्वभौम समस्त सत्ता ध्यात्म राज बनाइए वेश वश भव जगमय ज्ञान पर दर्शाइए समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीति स्वर अपनाइए जय सद्गुरुदेव
Thank you very much, Leela ji, for Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan. It was a divine presence. Thank you very much for your efforts and your prayer. Now, from here, we move towards the main session, the main section where we are having discussion with Sant Shri Naamdeo Ji Maharaj about Vihangam Yoga. But before we start, let me give a quick glimpse introduction of Naamdeo Ji Maharaj. Although I mean, his introduction is to known to everyone, but just for the sake of completeness and for those who have joined us maybe for the first time to hear him, I just would like to mention few words about Sant Shri Naamdeo Ji Maharaj. He is a living saint and the president of international wing of Vihangam Yoga, who transforms the perspective with his mystic insights. A humanitarian, a trustee of and chief United Nations project coordinator of Vihangam Yoga Sansthan. Naamdeo Maharaj is a true visionary and ambassador of global change and transformation. Naamdeo is a social entrepreneur who illuminates the statement, be the change you seek in the world, which means if you need any change in the world, it starts from you itself. That's what the slogan he has given, be the change you seek in the world. He's leading Vihangam Yoga organization, which is a not-profit organization, not-for-profit organization, with a core objective of serving humanity. Under his global vision, Vihangam Yoga collaborates with the esteemed United Nations body, United Nations Habitat and United Nations ECOSOC, in undertaking numerous initiatives for betterment of the whole society. With a firm belief in the mission for global peace and harmony, Sant Sri Naamdeo Maharaj's dynamic approach is addressing the current social issues. He displays a unique mix of innovative thinking and holistic outlook. With his simplified approach towards social change, he connects with people at the grassroots, leading by example, championing the principles which represents the philosophy of Vihangam Yoga. His advocacy of change as a collaborative effort rather than an individual approach has inspired many to take the pledge of service to humanity. Sant Sri Naamdeo Maharaj has founded a lot many different groups to serve the society in a much more better and optimal way. Few of these are Sukrit group, which includes Sukrit Ayurveda, which produces Ayurvedic medicine using organic natural ingredients. Sukrit Wellness Tour, showcasing traditional Indian culture heritage to the global audience as a partner of Incredible India mission. Another one is Sukrit Health, the health and wellness center at unique natural locations offering a range of traditional Ayurvedic treatments. Sant Sri Naamdeo is the editor-in-chief of Vihangam Light, an English magazine which exposes the cause of holistic wellness and spirituality. He is chairman of Sadafal Foundation. His vision is to support the needy by equipping them with the skills and knowledge for their success in lives. His concern about the environment is prime, and on that basis, he started a new initiative which is named as Name Tree, which means he encourages and everyone else in the world to plant or sapling for the trees or the plants. Environment is the one which is a giver to all of us. We are just extracting things from us, from the nature. What Naamdeo Maharaj has initiated is about please protect the environment. Whichever way you can contribute is very important. Each and every single one of us is absorbing the energy of the nature, the environment. What are we giving back to it? We must put our effort to plant at least a tree, a sapling of a plant. We must do this. Naamdeo Maharaj is a regular practitioner of higher stage of Vihangam Yoga and has gained profound knowledge of human mind and beyond in his meditative state of Vihangam Yoga. His solutions to the everyday life situations are practical and outstandingly simple. We are today going to hear to be blessed with such a divine person, unparalleled divine person on the topic of Vihangam Yoga. I bow to his feet to invite him to come to the stage to enlighten us on this topic of Vihangam Yoga, and thereafter we will have question and answer with him. Thank you. Jai Spas Naamdeo Maharaj.
Thank you very much. Jai Surdev Bhagwan, Pranam, Charan Sparsh. Vihangam Yoga is the most ancient practice of yoga. There never was a time this method of the most ancient method of meditation did not exist. There never would be a time in the future that it would cease to exist. It is an eternal science, a science which originates from the zone divine. When we talk about matters dealing with the understanding of spiritual matters, dealing with the matters related with realization of our own self, it is not just the technique, but it is something much more beyond than that. And that is only one zone from wherein all that is manifested into your sadhana, into your reality, is the act, is the play of something much more beyond than the perceptual reality that you see today about your own self. So the sadhana, Vihangam Yoga sadhana, is about taking you further ahead into that zone where the realization occurs. By the time you reach to the zone divine, you have already dropped off many of your dispositions, your illusionary self-sense. The sense that you draw at this point in time is actually related with and in fact only related with your own concocted idea, which is not true. So it is about taking you to that zone where you are totally devoid of any mind and matter. Though you would like to know about it, you may want to get into it deeper, but at the same time, totally detached. So Vihangam Yoga Sadhana, the uniqueness of Vihangam Yoga Sadhana, first of all, is about not exalting anyone, not asking anyone to take to the path of Himalaya, to go to the Himalayan range and be in a secluded place. One can choose to do so, but that is not the ultimate reality of life, wherein you are just all alone by your own self. In fact, the very initial stage of Vihangam Yoga is really empowering in terms of dealing with the matters that we find really overwhelming. We are really empowered within to deal with the situation outside. We can withstand any difficulties of life if the very first stage of Vihangam Yoga and what is supposed to do is actually captured within. It is the total involvement with yourself creates a path, not otherwise, never otherwise. You just cannot go off the track away from the society and family and find the path towards higher consciousness. The reason why Brahma Vidya Vihangam Yoga is the most relevant today, even after 5,000 years, where Krishna in the Kurukshetra, when he imparted this knowledge to Arjuna, because Arjuna was totally bewildered. And what happened there? Krishna, Shri Krishna, Bhagwan Shri Krishna could easily have said to Arjuna, Arjuna, you are such a pious soul. You are such a nice guy. You don't want to fight with your family members. And Arjuna said, I would rather go and beg than be an emperor, because that king and that kingdom will be smeared with blood of my family members. I cannot do it. I want to run away. I don't want to do it. I would rather go and beg and survive. That would have been easy way out, wouldn't it? But the Krishna, the Sarathi, the chariot, or the driver here is a form of a god. And the one he is leading is a disciple, one of his disciples. Or maybe we all could say it is a Leela of God. So in that Leela, in that very display of God, the very playful act of God, where he asked Arjuna to take up.
I think there is some technical issue at Sri's end. Let's wait for a few more minutes. Sorry for the disconnect. Meanwhile, when Sant will join again, please put down your questions on the chat box if you have any. Do not hesitate. Later on, I will be inviting for individuals. If you raise your hand to ask question to Sansri, that this will be your opportunity to ask any question to him. So please keep yourself ready in that respect. And also, since most of you have been doing this meditation challenge, please do not forget to submit your reports. That is very important for us. Very soon, some more uh, results will be released on the website. Please continue your journey on this particular platform. Thank you. Sometimes what happens in India, that if the electricity is gone, then the laptop or internet doesn't work on the laptop. So that's how some difficulty happens. We have faced it sometime. So that might have been the situation right now, probably. Let's remain in the same divine state. We will be hearing soon from Sant Shri Naamdeo Ji Maharaj. Just for those who have joined just recently this Zoom link, we are discussing about Vihangam Yoga, where Sant Sri Naamdeo Ji Maharaj is explaining the concept of spirituality and Vihangam Yoga, what exactly it is, how does it function, and what are the main objectives. So he has joined again now. Just wait for 1 or 30 seconds, probably. Thereafter, he will start soon. Just wait for 15 seconds now. Thank you. Ji.
Sorry for this interruption in between. So Arjuna could have been happiest guy, having guided by Shri Krishna, not to do anything, not to do anything at all, and do what is most pious. Can you imagine? What is most pious, most sacred? Not to fight with family members. Would you like to fight with your family members? No, you would not do so. No one would do so. But here is the form for God who is telling you to fight. Can you imagine? Maybe this clarity would not have come up if someone else would have advised him. A mediocre person, the layman, if the layman had said the words of wisdom, it would not have penetrated through Arjun. Why it became the teaching this teaching became so important? Because it was imparted by someone who was attuned to the highest self. So it is not about what is being given to you. It is about how and where it is coming from. That's what Vihangam Yoga is. Vihangam Yoga comes from that zone divine, which actually guides you through the process of life. And that process of life with your own self at this point in time, from where you are operating, is not good enough to navigate your path through in the most righteous manner. That's when Vihangam Yoga comes into play. Because first of all, what you do is you bring yourself on the page where the reality of life are right there trying to confront you. The very person you are, you want to challenge yourself. And that would not happen, my dear friends, by running away from where you are right now. It could be sorted right where you are. I'm sure that most of us would agree. And this is what the very preliminary stage of Vihangam Yoga does to you. That what is needed, which is totally opposite of your preferences, which is just the contrary to the preferences and likes and dislikes that you have developed over the years due to your unconscious mindset, compulsive mindset. Now here you are asked to give up. Now there's a teacher telling you, there's a Krishna here teaching you right away in sadhana, in dhyan. So this technique of meditation cannot be just put down as a method of meditation only, but why it is important, why this technique is important, because it has got a grace of someone who is much more higher than this perception of yours, this reality that we see. That's why it is important. So why Vihangam Yoga? Because we cannot just drag on being what we have been. We just cannot say it is just okay. Yeah, if you want to say it is just okay, it means that you have risen above it and you do not want to make a big deal about the person that you have been. If we have reached to that stage of consciousness, that is all great. That is what Vihangam Yoga Sadhana is intended to do for you. But we cannot have the same habits. We cannot have same pattern of thought process. Every now and then we are just submerged into the quagmire of our own dispositions, where we get up and find the other day into the same pit again. How many times, for how long? How many times, for how long we will find ourselves into that quagmire of pulling senses and our own likes and dislikes, preferences, not much of liking, whatever it is. So Vihangam Yoga, first stage of dhyan, is all about bringing you to that platform where you can see yourself. You can actually see how you operate. The very first stage of Vihangam Yoga is about seeing through your own mindset, especially your thoughts. That is the first stage of Vihangam Yoga. What is the next stage of Vihangam Yoga? What happens in there? In second stage of Vihangam Yoga, there is a filter. Like we have an RO filter at home. So there is a filter out there that is created. And the filter is so strong that nothing can enter your life without your awareness. Even it is not, even things would not be drastically different, things will come up because of our karmic debts, and we have to pay off in this life. But the karmic debt you are supposed to pay in this life will come as a wisdom into your life. And that's the only difference between those people who cry over things that has gone wrong and those who are able to transmute what has gone wrong into a path towards higher success and triumph. That is the magic of Vihangam Yoga, second stage, magic of Vihangam Yoga, second stage of meditation. You will know that things are coming. I know it's my karma, but the way you will look at things, your perspective will drastically change. That is the magic of Vihangam Yoga, second stage. Whatever comes in here comes with a message, comes with an awareness of wisdom. Oh no, I have to deal with it very differently. My perspective towards everything has changed. And as that change, everything around us starts shifting because our dimension have changed. The very perspective of it have changed. So in the first stage, what you did was you came closer to your own self. You could see through your own thoughts. You were able to navigate your path through it. You were able to see. I mean, it's like you are coming closer to yourself. In second stage, whatever happens, you just don't cry over it. You lament it. But in fact, that comes with a message. You know that why it is there. Why it is there. You exactly know it. And once you are able to see through what is transpiring around you, you are able to make sense of what it is there for you to do for you. If you are able to make sense of why things are there the way they are, you are at peace. That is the magic. That is the wisdom. When that is given to you, your life becomes bliss. No matter where you are right now at this point in time, no matter which platform or which society, family, or anything for that matter, it does not matter because you start making sense of why things are the way they are and what you need to do at this point in time. That is the second bhumi. What happens in third bhumi? Because now in second bhumi, your actions are really purified. I would rather say it is conscious. Your action must be conscious at the second stage of Vihangam Yoga. Your actions is conscious. Whatever you're doing, you know the very effect of it. And you would start labeling things. In fact, second stage of Vihangam Yoga is the most significant to create a most harmonious society in the world. Why? Because your mind will not make a judgment about everyone and everyone or anyone and everyone around you. You are just at a stage where your perspective have changed. The very cultural values people come from, which may be just the opposite of yours, but you would not judge it. Why that person is like that, or this person is like that, situation, the people, all the mental deductions that comes up immediately once things appear right before you are totally cleared off from your path. And you see things very differently. That is the magic of Vihangam Yoga. My prayer is that it happens to all of us, in fact, to all human beings. We would be viewing things very differently than what we have in the past. And what happens in third stage of Vihangam Yoga? Third stage is the awakening of Kundalini. So you have Ingla, Pingla, and there is something called Sushmana. Now, in second stage of Vihangam Yoga, Sushmana is the Ingla and Pingla, both are at a juncture. And there is a passage, a very tiny passage out there, of Susmana that needs to be taken upward. The very flow of it needs to be awakened. And that has to do the base of your spine. If that is awakened, many millions of lies, memories are washed away. Because as long as they rule you, as long as you are dictated by those memories and events, that version of yourself, you would still be stuck somewhere in the Prakriti, into your own understanding. But here you are, once that is awakened, then the entire spectrum of spiritual consciousness is opened before you. You are able to connect to that zone divine, and you become very subtle. Because now you are able to kind of merge into everything. It's just like you have totally dissolved into everything around you. So there is no this or that. But that is not the ultimate reality of your spirituality. That is not Vihangam Yoga either. And that's when you become spiritual. That's when you operate from the higher zone of consciousness. Unless the awakening of Kundalini happens, there is no spirituality. It is just you are overcoming your own traits. You are redefining yourself. You are refining yourself as a human being. It's a very evolutionary process. The process could be highly, highly painful, but it is not the ultimate. What is ultimate was the awakening of Kundalini happens. And that strong fern, if I could say, that blocks the awakening of it, is totally removed by sadhana, by the kripa, by the blessing of Sadguru. That's when awakening happens. And it happens most spontaneously. When that happens, you are just washed off all the karmic impressions. That's when Vihangam Yoga, fourth stage, comes into play. That's when you realize the self. Why I have come here? Who am I? That realization happens in the fourth stage of Vihangam Yoga. Once you have totally cleared off all the karmic substances, all that is not you has just left you. You are into the self of your own realization. You realize yourself, who you actually are. In that realization of light, you lead your life. And you realize that you are none other than everything that there is in this universe. But the journey doesn't stop here either. You may have the feeling of Aham Brahmasmi, but that is not the ultimate you. Still, there is a long path. So in the fifth stage of Vihangam Yoga, that's when you are taken to that zone where the Parampurush, Paramatma himself, or he has no form or he has a form. He's beyond all form and formlessness. He's beyond all of that. So once you reach that zone, then you realize what it is that we human beings are not, that can be distinguished from the one where we all come from. So we all come from that Akshara Mandal because we are that only, but there's something much more beyond than Akshara Mandal. So that's the ultimate place of Vihangam Yoga. But very few reach there. Very few of them reach there. That's why Sadhudev Bhagwan, Sadhu Devji Maharaj has taken the pledge. And it's only some million people, not I mean, there are more than 7 billion people in the world, but out of which how many? Not even 1% will go there. According to the proclamation that Sadgurudev Bhagwan has made, not even 1%, not even 0.5. Why? Because there is a reason why. Not everyone is entitled to reach there. So the knowledge is pristine, and it has always been into the existence. But the only way to make our path towards it is to realize our own self. Self-realization can lead to God realization. If there is no self-realization, there is no any other realization. There's no God realization. And if there is any realization, that realization is confined to some achievements. Maybe if I, let's say in the second stage of Vihangam Yoga, if mind is so purified, or purified if the actions are so purified, and if my prana is in my control, I can become very good manifester. But that manifestation of what? Manifestation of materialistic desire. That could also be important. But somewhere you will always be restricted beyond a point. There is no way out than to seek the shelter of the master, because master can take you there. Even a tiny percent, not even a percent of the entire cosmic energy is imparted within you. You will feel that you have the entire cosmos under your control. But that is not the truth. That's the reason why the display of ostentatious power of the universe is not given to a Vihangam yogi. Why? Because one will be creating a lot of drama around him or her. But the really sense of realization of the self will be totally missed, will be totally gone. That's why these supernatural power is never emphasized upon. Why? Because that is not important at all. What is important is the realization of the self. If Sadgurudev Bhagwan, he himself had wanted, would have become the most powerful spiritually and displayed his power to the world. But he did not do so. So how would you know? How would you know that this is the ultimate? The yogi can be known only through one thing, and that is the ultimate reach of Vihangam Yoga. The ultimate reach of Vihangam Yoga is about, and if I could say, what is actually Vihangam Yoga? Because from the stage 1 to 2 and then 3 and 4 and 5, what is the ultimate thing? What is that one thing by which I can measure, I can quantify what Vihangam Yoga is? Just one thing. What is that? How do you know that you have reached the ultimate? How would you know? Once you have reached that zone, you are one with everything there is and beyond also at the same time. But still, there is something much more than this. But how would that also be demystified? That can be demystified. And beyond that lies the power of Sadguru. When Sadguru and only Sadguru Dev can actually help you dissolve your own self. And when that is possible, then that's when you can leave this body at your will. So if I could tell you, what is that one thing that can be the parameter for that optimized, that symbolizes the most sublime form of spirituality? In Vihangam Yoga, what is actually Vihangam Yoga? Vihangam Yoga is a science, and the only sign through which you can leave this body at your will. That is Vihangam Yoga. Nothing else is Vihangam Yoga. I can also leave my mind from here by a force, by forcing my prana, and be at Kumbhak for about, let's say, 10 years. People can actually stop their prana and live without prana. Maybe a very pores of the body also draw in a lot of oxygen. It's not through the nostril only. I can open up many ways to breathe in and survive this body, be in Jada Samadhi beneath the soil for many, many years. It can be done through a very obstinate way. But you don't have to become that obstinate. You can just be at your will in a very comfortable position. You can leave this body. That is Vihangam Yoga. When Sadgurudev Bhagwan himself left his body at his will, that is Vihangam Yoga. So you come in because you have to dissolve matters in this life. You have to do certain things in life. Maybe you would be born with a silver spoon in your mouth or diamond spoon in your mouth, born in a very rich family. You may be born under very tragic circumstances in a very poor family. You can make anything out of this body. This is the most magical body, magical human existence in the world. This human body, the most magical one. Through this human body, everything is possible. This is all possibility. But what is that Vihangam Yoga that can be distinguished from the rest? And that is how to leave this body at your own will. If you can do that, that is the real Vihangam Yoga. Nothing else is. Because you have come from somewhere, but there is a blockage. Now this body has been given, and the body has come from the impressions. And that's why you have some dispositions which I do not. I do have some dispositions which you do not. All of us are different. None of us are equal. That's so unique, isn't it? So we shall realize how precious this human mechanism is that has been given to us as a grace. This life is that opportunity. Through this body, we can dissolve all karmic substances. Through seva, satsanga, sadhana, through seva especially, we can just obliterate many impressions of many lifetime, to dissolve ourselves into everything there is in this universe and mold ourselves into such a way that we are most conducive to receive the higher subtle frequencies that permeates into everything around you. At this point in time, as I speak to you, there is an energy that is working, and it's nothing but very projection of yours. How you are projecting yourself into the world is what you are drawing in from the universe. But all can be done, all can be channelized most constructively to achieve the higher self of yours with the right thinking, with the right sadhana. It's like you are molding yourself into that subtle energy, which will draw only what is best for you. As long as the very compulsiveness is driving your life, the compulsive desire which you do not have control over, and the impulses on which you just act on because you have no will of your own, then there would be a heap of memories. And these memories are trapped within the self's memory. That's why when the awakening happens, it's very jittery. And awakening just cannot happen at one go. It has to be very systematic. And one shall never try and kind of instantly achieve it, trying to just do some quick and fixes in order to have awakening right away. It won't happen right away. It must not happen right away. There's a process to us. The harder the process, the more refined you become. And that refinement is what is needed. And that is achieved. Then you are blessed to the world. Though there are few souls, again, I'm saying there are few souls who are chosen to be in this world to benefit others. They cannot help it. So they may never know themselves first. They may never know who they are as a human being because it's not intended. It is not intended that way. Like Shri Hanuman ji never knew himself, as it is said, because it is intended that way. Because they are there to benefit the world. There are few souls in the world, even though they have reached the zone divine and way beyond, but they would always be devoid of it. Because for them, bhakti is everything. So that's why there are so many forms of yoga. The most ideal way to approach it to the marg of seva and bhakti. Sadhana cannot do everything. Sadhana can take you to some stage of success. Maybe you can have some insights, but insights must be able to make you more subtle, more friendly. But if that insight is turning you hostile and making you supercilious, or other people find your behavior rather condescending because you have some power, it means that there is a huge karma being created by you unconsciously just because you have achieved some higher level of success in meditation. So it happens in sadhana. People achieve through prana. There are a lot of things that can be achieved, but that is not proper. You can create a gurudam out of what you have achieved. You can create some level of materialistic success by preaching spirituality, because people will be drawn to you because people are ignorant, because they cannot do what you are capable of. What you are capable of. So that is not fair. That will stop your spiritual growth. What is most significant is to take your body and mind to a level where it is dissolved of everything that it has ever known, and so that it is ready. You are clean, the slate is clean. Now, anything can be inscribed. Anything can be just written on it. But now it has become one with there is. And that there is the supreme consciousness. So once you are able to leave the body at your will, that's when you are with the one there is. Otherwise, no. So what happens is, in Jivan Mukti Avastha, once you have reached that stage, but you are here to do your duties, you may never know that you are a Jivan Mukt. You never know. Even Jivan Mukt at times take a human form, and they have to kind of process themselves through some trauma of their lives, because they are being prepared for next generation to come. So they are being given in this life what is not there. Maybe this laptop was not conceptualized 1,000 years ago. Maybe this way of communication was not conceptualized 1,000 years ago. Now it is a reality, isn't it? In the same way, because this is the evolutionary process. So Jivan Mukta Atmas are used, oh, I'm sorry to use this word, but they are used for higher purpose by a force, by Akhtar Mandal, by Sadgurudev, or way beyond. They're used for a higher purpose, so that next generation could be geared up, so that they are ingrained, they are given kind of experiences which is not possible to have by the means of layman's life. It is not a layman's life. It is a very extraordinary experience that they are put through. They are put through for a specific purpose. So there may be, who knows, you may come across any Jivan Mukta Atma on the way. You may not know that he is, and he may not know himself that he is, but he's being prepared for something much more higher. And if he knows that where he comes from, he will forget, he won't go through the experiences. He would not like to, but now he is being trained. His body is being trained. This body is also very intelligent. It is made of that higher substance, higher intelligence. It is not just any body. It is not instinctively driven. It can be consciously driven as well at the same time. So if you are able to tap into that unknown zone, which has everything, which has the sea of all potential, if you can tap into that, then there could be a realm of possibility. There could be a realm of possibility that you could be the part of. And if you are part of that unknown zone, which has all the possibilities, all the potential of the universe, anything can be created out of that infinite field of consciousness, which is not tapped by the human mind, then you can become genius. A lot could be achieved through you. At least we shall be able to mold ourselves in such a way that what is not known comes out unraveling itself. Unraveling itself. And that is possible in the third stage of Vihangam Yoga. From the second to third, it is a magical journey, because you start to know how the universe works. What is the nitty-gritty of this universe and how things transpire the way they do? Everything just come out unraveling itself. That's the most magical journey. But even the first and second is magical, very, very important journey. It is not most magical one, but it is the most fundamental one, because you must know about your own self. You must say hello to yourself, come closer to yourself, see through your own thoughts and how it works and how you operate. At least you should know about something about yourself. Now in this sea of knowledge, in the world of Google, you can know about everything around the world but yourself. The only answer that is not available on the internet today is who you actually are. And everything is available. Even it can tell you how to reach the self-realization, but you'll never know yourself. That's how uniquely you have been crafted by someone, that no one, no matter how advanced the technology is, no one can reach to the level of your functioning. It's only you whom have to know. You are at the helm of your own affair. You got to know yourself. You got to take control of yourself. That control is very conscious. It's not a control as such. It's very spontaneous. That control is very spontaneous. So the first stage to second stage of Vihangam Yoga is the most significant. And then the later stage in Vihangam Yoga, once you reach there, you realize that what I passed through was just a mirage, and I made something as a reality which was nothing but it was a mirage. So once you reach this stage of your life, at times a lot of time gets wasted before we reach the place and realize what we went through was totally mirage. We shouldn't have wasted so much of time, but that everything in the whatever is happening in your life is needed. So never judge yourself. Never ever judge yourself, because the stronger and the prolonged the pain And the more intensity is, the more realization you will have as what not you must do in your life. And the realization is so much that it is carried forward into your next life as well. So don't worry about it. Everything has a purpose. But the moment you realize it, you can multiply your time, as we discussed yesterday. So nothing to worry about. If you are in the first stage of Vihangam Yoga, the reason why I'm telling you, I know time is up. The reason why I'm telling you, if you have taken, let's say, 10 years of your life doing Pratham Bhumi and Second Bhumi, okay? So from third to fourth and fifth will be quite easier, because you have put yourself through the process of so many experiences, and each of them was so overwhelming, and that you overcame, you withstood that pain, that excruciating pain. And the pain was not infected by some outer force. No, my dear friends, it was not infected by anyone. It came from within, because we could not deal with it. We could not deal with our own self. Most of us are struggling with the stage where we are not able to cope with our own self, our own ways of functioning. But once we rise above them, then we realize what this human precious life is intended to be. And that is the purpose of Vihangam Yoga. That is the purpose of Vihangam Yoga, but that is not ultimate reality of Vihangam Yoga. The ultimate reality of Vihangam Yoga is how to leave this body at your will from where it came from. That's when the God realization can happen. And that happens only after self-realization. Because if you don't know who you are, how would you leave your body? That's where you are entitled to become a yogi. So I think my time is up. I can see Subhasji on the screen, and time is the most precious one, but you can't control it. Can you control it?
Thank you very much, Naamdeo Maharaj, for this mesmerizing sentences. And I was feeling like keep on going, listening. I was in a very different mode altogether, and I didn't realize about the time. But we have to honor time to a certain extent. We have some questions which I would like to put it forward to you. Since we were discussing about the main objective and the main process of Vihangam Yoga, it is related with death. So we have three questions related with death, where I'm combining all of these together. What happens after the death, actually, and whether if somebody dies, whether the spiritual journey still continues even the death, or once, once the body is left on his own will, the person leaves the body on his own will, it's a different thing. But there are many infinite people are there, infinite lives are there who are forced to leave body. Then in that case, what does happen, whether the spiritual path, spiritual journey still continues after the death, or what happens after the death, actually?
Yes. Yes. Nothing happens after that, to be honest with you. Nothing happens. What happens is what you have been. This is what happens. So if you have been a terrible person, you will continue to be a terrible person in the next birth. If you have been a great guy, you will carry forward the same legacy of greatness into your next life. Nothing will change. It's not that by death you become a great guy. If I died as a stupid guy, as a dumb guy, because I did all the bad things, suppose that if I could not make best use of this human body in this life, and the opportunity was given to me, and I died like a bad guy, okay, let's say that, I won't transform into a great guy in my next life. Absolutely not. Or by death itself, my doings are not washed away. There are some school of thought that say, okay, in our also Hindu philosophy or something, they put some tulsi ji, basil into your mouth, and Ganga water and all that thing. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's not that easy that you make a hash of your life. I mean, you make all bad things in your life, and at the end of it, you just put some water and some basil, some herbs in your mouth, and you're washed away of all the sins. It's not possible. So After that, it is just the doing of your karma, what you have done. It is a very painful experience. It's not that easy. It's extremely painful experience, in fact, after that. Because the body, in fact, the soul does not leave the body. To be honest with you, yes, that's right. You will say, what you're saying, yes, the Atma leaves, but it is so confined to this home. This is the home. This is the home. Like, would you like to leave your home right now? No, it's not. You have created that attachment with your home, haven't you? So this body is the home. So it is there. In fact, 22 minutes, it is just around there, just in fact making sense of what has gone, in fact, what has happened. So after that it's the only life that we should be thinking about, not the death at all. And we must know that this human body is most precious, and it's an opportunity. It's an absolute opportunity. When this is denied, when this understanding is denied by dispositions, then one gets born into what you call the Triyak yonis, whatever you call it, born in 24 yonis. That's a different thing altogether. But after death, what has been done accordingly, the justice will be served. It's not that someone takes you to the Yamaraj or something like that, you are punished there. No, you're not punished like that. There is no God out there to punish you. Absolutely wrong concept, nonsense. There is no one up there in the sky. There is nothing like that. God has nothing to do with you, to be honest with you. God has nothing to do with your karma. I mean, in a subtle way, yes. I mean, that's from the very understanding point of view. Yes, of course, there is a God, there is everything. And I mean, even if you speak, there is a God. That's a different thing. But God will come down and take you to a place in the heaven because you have done a great job. No, absolutely not. There's no God out there sitting on some higher elongated seat. No, it's not. And there's no one to punish you. It's just that what you have done. Now the soul will look for its place, what is most conducive. So all of you who are complaining about why were you born and where you're born, because you chose to be born where you're born. So don't complain. So the Atma chooses its own place. There are some instances where a specific Atma comes into a specific place without their choice. That is also there. But 95% is like you choose the most conducive place for your birth. So you choose, the Atma choose. So the family that you're born into, according to the karma of your past, you choose to be born in a specific place, and also the family and the place too. So it is just a cycle. In fact, it's like, you are gone, but again, you are reborn again into something else. So the cycle keeps going on and on. According to your karma, you will read the same thing again, and it keeps going on and on.
Ji, there are a couple of more questions. This question comes from Abhinavji from Australia. And he's asking that since we all come from the zone of the Supreme, and how come we get attracted towards this physical world? I mean, what have we done that we are attracted and we have come to this physical body?
That's precisely the reason why we have come down, so that we realize that we are none of these. So the realization is very important. And the reason why we have come is, of course, to glorify the birth of a human, because it is not by any means that we just happen to be a human. That is the most significant to understand. And this human body is possibility of everything. So Abhinavji is already such an elevated soul, but I don't have to tell him. Maybe he is asking because he feels that why he has come from the zone divine himself. Okay. So it is just that it is the realization of being a human, what this human body and what we mean by being a human and what we are capable of. If that is realized, then we are all the possibilities. That's why people have landed on moon, people are going to Mars. Even there is a booking towards taking humans to Mars. Elon Musk is working at it. Maybe Abhinav could also work something like that. He's also a genius like him. So what I'm saying is just being a human has all the possibilities of the world. It means that there's nothing that we cannot achieve. This is the reason why we came down. So but what we make out of it is our choice. We have all the choices, and that's the reason why what you have to choose is the most significant. So what do you want to choose right now? Ask yourself. So this vastness of this universe can only be realized through the mechanism of this human mind and body. But going beyond that, but this is the instrument that can be used. So don't you think that we shall use this human body? As of now, this body is using us. It is just sapping away all the energy of the soul. No, we're just draining it out. But once that is realized, that this is just the container, this is used for a higher purpose, then our ascension towards spirituality is paved. That's when we start growing into deeper understanding of life.
Gee, so related with this, there is one more question that if we ourselves choose where to go or what happens with us, is it when we are in this body at that time point on the basis of all the karma and activity we do, on that basis it is decided, and that's why you say that it is our choice? Or once we are not in the body and wherever we are, from there we choose to come to a body on our own will or on our own choice? I mean, which one is the way?
The best way is to realize within this frame of your body right now, because once you have left the body, you have no choice anyway. The soul has realization of what it has done, the pain it has gone through, and now accordingly it will come back again. It has to come back again to dissolve what has been done consciously or unconsciously. So it is the very intent of what has been done that is the most important. So the most ideal is to realize within this frame of the body and mind, as you because you can make uh, mental calculation, what is right for you, what is not right for you. So realization must happen right now, right now. I mean, in this human birth, the realization must occur. If it does not occur, it is such a tragedy. It is such a tragedy. It is just pain, because you could not make best use of this human precious body in this life, could understand the blessing, why this body has been given, was given. Now you have no body, because this has to be also, this has to be there. This body is also equally significant, so that you can realize it, because everything is trapped within. But you have to go beyond this body. But to deny it, just to deny it, is absolute fallacy, is foolishness, in fact. Why? Because you are denying this, the place where you are right now, and you want to go ahead. How could you deny your presence where you are right now in order to make progress? Because how would you make progress if you don't realize where you are right now? And if you are being very abusive or not very appreciative about where you are right now at this point in time, how would you expect to make progress, headways into anything? So it is very significant to realize where you are. So if you are in the trap of this body, appreciate it, appreciate it. Appreciation means realization. Realize that where you are right now. Because only with this body that has been given, something could be achieved. So if that realization occurs, then of course you will make better choices in your life, would you? Of course you will. But suppose that if you have no body, now you could not make best use of this birth. Now you have left the body has left you. Under the kala, under the bound of time, the pran has left you. Now it has no choice. It has no choice at all. It is choiceless. But yeah, this is exactly why it is needed, and it is the most sacrosanct. This human body is sacrosanct. It's the most pious and the most precious, that we realize why this human body has been granted to us for some time. We have taken it for granted, but in fact, each moment is given, granted.
Ji, Ji, thank you very much. There are a few more questions. I'll just narrate it. So there is one question on Swarga, Nark, Jannat, Dozak, and all those. Does this really do they really exist? We have heard about Divlok also and all those. Whether these things exist in reality or not, as you mentioned that when the death happens, there is nothing to be done as such. A soul cannot do if unless and until it has reached to the ultimate divine zone. But in between, is there anything which exists which has been mentioned in not many places here and there?
Who am I to say so? Have I been to that zone divine myself? I mean, gone beyond the death myself to say it? If I have seen it, then I would tell you. I have not seen the life beyond death, but all I know in sadhana, that you can see in your dhyana as well, there's nothing like that at all. But I'm here to proclaim it that that's the way it is. I'm not, because that will be quite a superstitious. It is quite a egoistic attitude to proclaim it like that. But what I can say is, you should not talk about God, first of all. There's no God as such, okay? Let's say there's no God. There's, of course, the God permeates into everything. It's fine, it's a concept. It is also the truth. But you have got nothing to do with, your actions have got nothing to do with God. Your karma is God. May I say so? That's why you see so many successful people in the world whom you may envy, and they never visit a shrine, they never visit a temple, but they're so successful. You may go and take a bow and do, but your karmas are not so glorified. So what I mean to say is, there's no any swarga and naraka as such. And this swarga naraka concept is actually is a mental concoction. It is something that is absolutely fallacy. And I would rather say that it has got flaws which a human totally submerged into Prakriti could make. Totally submerged into Prakriti. It's like they are heaven, so you will have this or that. Oh my God. What are you talking about? You have this of pleasure. I mean, they will talk about the pleasures of senses. Can you imagine this level of atrocity? Shame, shameless. I mean, how could any book or any religious authority write something as stupid as this, as such lowering thing? Even the second stage of Vihangam yoga drops off all the illusions that these pleasures are nothing. You are so elevated. In fact, you find bliss not having them because you don't need them. And now here someone is talking that you are taken to that level where there is this or that, all nonsense. I mean, can you imagine this level of nonsense? I mean, you find bliss dropping off. All that seems real is actually totally mirage. Now here there is a school of thought or religious authority saying that, oh, there is this or that, you will achieve this or that. In fact, it is absolute blessing not having them. So if you are seeking this kind of materialistic pursuits, which are there just to satisfy your senses, you are geared nowhere. And some religion, in fact, do it just to reach a place of that, what you call Jannat, to have all the pleasures of the world. In fact, they are so irrelevant. They're so irrelevant. It's like a 3 years old child crying over a candy. Ah, where is my candy? Where is my candy? I'm crying. Would you cry that? Would you cry right now over a candy? If I snatch a candy away from you, you don't give a damn about it. It's a candy, all right. So it's like some religious authorities say so with such prominence, which is, I think, I find it absolutely shameful, because I'm sorry, but I'm very adamant, and I know the word I'm using right now, but I do think it's absolutely absurd, absolutely absurd. In fact, you find bliss in dropping off everything. In fact, you are blessed not having them. Someone has blessed you. You thank someone higher than you, whom you have not seen, for not having granted you those pleasures of life, because those are not pleasures anyway.
Ji. So in this world, there are so many people who are elevated, and there are so many different kind of people. But if you talk about the world, even right now, recently, whatever is happening in the northern part of the world is not getting the peace the way it has to be. When actually would be the peace come to the world? And I think Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj also had mentioned that the world has to come at peace at one time. Is there any timeline, time frame mentioned somewhere that, okay, fine, now from here onward, the world is into the peace? This question has come from Manishji from Mauritius.
Yes, peace. To find peace, it is very important that you go through all the turmoil of your life. The other is the only way to find peace. Peace cannot be found in some solace, in some segregated place where you are away from the world, and everything according to you is done. If everything according to you is done, then that will be the end of humanity. If you could just do everything that you would like to do, you will be the most unbearable person on the planet, wouldn't you? Because you will have all the Gnostic thing coming out of you, the desires that has not been fulfilled will all come up. It's not about them. In fact, it is just realizing that these will not give you any peace and happiness in your life. The peace is a mental state of higher consciousness. Nothing else is peace. So if I give you all kind of peaceful, conducive environment around you, would you be peaceful? Would you be peaceful? If you are looking for, well, let's say, uh, $10 million, if you got $10 million, would you be happy? If you are given this or that, the most conducive, the most conducive, the way you would just love it to have, if that is granted to you, do you think you would be peaceful? Would you be? Hello? Ask this question to yourself right now. Ask this question to yourself. If I were to be given everything in this universe, everything in this world, just the way I would like to have, just the way I would like to have, would I have the peace? In fact, to tell you the truth, I can guarantee you, in fact, 90% of the population, I can guarantee, 95%, let me say 99%. 99% of the population will be the most disturbed, having got what they exactly wanted in their lives. Because they're not ready for it. They're not ready for it. They're not poised to become what they want to become. There's a process, and they don't believe in the process. And if they don't believe in the process, then nothing can be done. No God can help. No God can help. Nothing can help. Unless you are a chosen soul by some higher authority, then something can be done. Someone has seen something in you that could benefit the world and the masses, many atmas through you. Yeah, there's something can be done. Master will come and pull you out of this quagmire of Maya. But why would he do so if he doesn't see anything in you? If he has not seen that you could benefit from you, through you, uh, mass at large could benefit from. So peace
Ji,
can be found by having a peace talk. Uh, Peace cannot be found anywhere. Peace is again just a word, just a word. It has no meaning. The peace is once you're going through a hell lot of nonsense in your life, and you can keep yourself calm. At the same time, at the same time, work at it, act on it. That's when you can find peace. Otherwise, the peace will not be there. In fact,
Ji,
it's the turbulence of your mind which can lead you to the peace, not the environment around you. The environment around you that you want to create, the most conducive environment for your peace will lead you to absolute destruction of your mind. You will be the most ferocious person in the world. Who knows? You never know.
yeah, I think you just answered one more question. There was one question that where and how can I get darshan of His Holiness Sadhguru Sarafal Devji Maharaj? I think you just answered that the person, the soul will get once he or she gets ready. I think it will happen automatically. But still, if you can elaborate a little bit more, just for the sake of satisfaction of the question, where exactly a person can get darshan of Sadhguru Sarafal Devji Maharaj?
Well, I think it is up to him to decide if he can come before you and appear before you. Let me know, and I will learn things from you. I'm humbled enough. Please let me know. I take a bow before you. I would like to learn from you and know how things happen, what one needs to do in order to have his darshan. Please do let me know once you get it. That's all I can say. Well, I think just to answer it, because I'm here to answer it. So, but if he can choose to give you darshan, I think it's his decision. It may not be yours at all. So who knows, you may find yourself at the least place where you can think of his darshan, and that's where he comes in. Most magical. So the very expectation is very good, but if you have that inquisitiveness towards finding him, and you have this burning desire within you, that inflame within you to know about him, I'm sure that he will come. But it is up to him to decide whether he comes and he appears before you, gives you his darshan. But yeah, what is important that he can guide you through your life. That is the most important thing. That if he becomes the part of your life, I don't know how he will mold you, but you will have a lot of love and compassion within your heart if you ever reached within him, within his vicinity, and you will accept the world that's the way it is, and you will have different perspective to deal with this world. That's for sure, and that's when the peace can be found also, because peace happens. I mean, you see the most of the upheaval in the world because of this is right, this is not right, this is what I think is right, this is not right, what you're doing is this because of that. These are the thought process that have totally created this kind of unrest in the world. So once you reach within his proximity, if I could say, then the sense of daya, karuna, that love and compassion, that this arise, and then you are in that grace. When that grace happens, the samatva bhav, the sense of equanimity emerges out of you, so that you are like, your mind is at rest. So I think that is his blessing. That is his blessing, that you are just very stable person. I would rather talk about the character, the very characteristics that you will be capable of achieving if it comes to your proximity, because behavior speaks much louder than any words.
Ji, as and when the time passes, many more questions are coming through, but I'm trying to shorten it out. I'm combining a few questions together. So, Vihangam Yoga practice has 5 different stages, and of course, the real Vihangam Yoga practice starts from the 4th stage. So, does this mean that before that, if there is a practitioner who is doing some yoga practice or say pranayam or other kind of meditation practice, it will bring them to the level of say Kundalini, and Kundalini can still be awakened without even getting connected with Vihangam Yoga or Sadguru at that stage? Or if I take it in a different way, Maharshi Patanjali mentioned about 8 limbs of yoga. Uh, is it true that even the Kundalini awakening can happen, even somebody is practicing something else, not even connected with Vihangam Yoga or differently?
Yeah, Kundalini awakening can happen by its own. That's right. You don't need support of Bhingam Yoga at all. That's right. Yes, go ahead. But it is most advisable to do so. Why? Because there is someone who has to take you, has to handhold you to the zone unknown to you. That's very significant because you have entered into a space that you are not aware of. The Kundalini awakening has happened. So now what has happened is you are totally in an unknown terrain where you feel that you are just everything, and everything around you has so much of intensity as level of your consciousness. So everything comes out very alive to you. And that alive has become your identity because you can actually make sense of whatever there is in that stage. But it will just stop there. You can be absolute at the state of bliss once the opening has happened, to be honest. But that is not the ultimate. And you can also come down. So what happens is the self-realization is the ultimate goal before you could realize the self, the Paramparush. After awakening of Kundalini, it is not the self-realization. Kundalini awakening has nothing to do with self-realization. It is like cutting the cord, cutting the cord, cutting the cord of many life's impressions. Now you have cut the cord. Now the baby is born. Now what? A baby needs a mother or father, someone to take care of. Come on. In the same way, Kundalini awakening is cutting off your character, cutting off what you have been, cutting off. Tuck. Now cord has been cut. Now you need a mother, you need a father, or someone to look after you.
Gee. So since you mentioned about mother and father, there is one question, in fact, interestingly linked to that, and that person has dedicated that question on today's day, which is being celebrated as Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. The question is, the Param Purush is Param Purush Paramatma is Pita, the father for everyone. That's what we say. What about the mother, the Mata? Is there is something else which exists on that side as well?
Mother is the ultimate source of creation. Without mother, nothing is possible. In fact, I can tell you this: your right nostril and left nostril, if they are not regulated properly, you have a disharmony in the body. All right. So, and also you have the moon too. Moon has to do with your left nostril. The right one has to do with the sun. Sun and moon is right here as you're breathing in, and there's no boundary to it. In the US, it may be night the previous day, maybe 7th of May. Today, here in India, is 8th. All right. So you see, there is just one or moon. And you see the axis and also the earth and how everything is how everything moves. So the mother here represents the movement. Without the grace, nothing can move. Mother is that grace. And mother is also that Shakti, that power. So it is not about the comparison, about without the awakening, without the mother called Kundalini, you cannot born. So now you are born into a spiritual realm after the third bhumi, after the cord has been cut. Now you have taken birth into the first stage, but you need someone to take care of. So here, mother is very significant because mother has given birth to you. But as you reach the fourth stage, as you realize the self, the Atma has no kind of, Atma has no like male or female version of it. No, it just as it is. And because of these dispositions, which happen under the realm of Prakriti, a male or female is born as that specific body. But once you go beyond this, there's no, soul does not have Atma. A soul doesn't have that Purush and Nari. It doesn't have that distinction. But to give birth, the mother is the most significant. Mother is that Shakti. So Kundalini is that form of motherly Shakti, Matri Shakti. That's why in some school of thought, it is shown as some Mata. To be honest with you, there is a connection there. Why? Because mother gives you birth. Because you cut the cord, baby is born. Now you have cut the cord with all lives of yours. Now it has been cut. All the karmic debts have been paid off, washed away. It has been cut. Now you are into the zone divine. You have taken birth now. But who has given the birth? The mother. That's why the juncture at which this Shakti comes in, like there is a connection between the two. If they must come together, that's why in Yang, what you call, or Yangian is called, if they come together, they can create a harmony, and that will be most conducive. That would be the most conducive to opening the Kundalini. So without mother, nothing can happen. It's the only mother which can give birth to. So, but it has a level, and that level is only till the maybe third stage of Vihangam Yoga. Once the awakening has happened, once you reach the fourth stage of Vihangam Yoga, then self is realized. There's no any male or female. There's no distinction at all. And once you reach to that level, anyway, it's a formless. Whether it's male or female, it doesn't matter. But we say Kal Purush, but it could be a form of female too, because anyway, it's a formless. So which God are you talking about anyway? It does have a form, but it is at the same time formless. It is beyond that, beyond the form and formlessness. It is beyond any shape and size and color that anyone can think of. So here, what is important is to pave the path towards spirituality. It is utmost important, especially for men, to honor women. To honor women, no matter how the woman is, it is none of a man's way to judge a woman, not at all. Just to respect all women in the world, if they want to ensure their path towards spirituality. If the attachment is there, there is a hell lot of problem, because then there is a different matter altogether. Attachment is, of course, creates a lot of problem, and it is intended to do so. It is absolutely fine. But to lead to a path of spirituality, it is very important that the respect and honor towards women towards any women, Matri Shakti, I mean to say, because just see, this is the somewhere English language is so restricted. What to say, Matri Shakti. So Matri Shakti has to be honored no matter what it is and how it is. For men, it is paramount that a man must respect a woman so that it does not pull you down, because you are also part of the same. Your body is, it's not about a separate person. No, not at all. It's about your own self. If you are not, suppose that you can make a peace deal with a woman outside, it's absolutely fine. Or Matri Shakti lets me say that. That's a very physical aspect of it. What about this body? If your emotions are like your mother and your will is like your father, isn't it? If your willingness to do something doesn't have the intensity of emotions, the intention of emotion, if both are not aligned, a greater a materialistic thing would not be achieved. If something much more grand has to be achieved in this life, materialistically I'm talking about, to benefit all, it is very important that a man must be in absolute peace with the female energy. Is, I mean to say that the willingness and that vigor that comes from a man and the power of intention, which has got intense emotion, comes from a woman. If both are not on the same page, nothing could be greatly created. That's a very subtle message which I want to give it to you, which is so significant. So you may have all the willingness, but you don't have the intention. You don't have the subconscious mind. That's subconscious tapping, where a woman is a woman is more able to tap than a man, because she is very intuitive by nature. A woman is much more intuitive than a man. Man could ever be. Man would progress spiritually to become as evolved as a woman, but she's already so spiritually involved. But man has to kind of take a giant leap of faith and make massive progress spiritually in order to be able to reach to the same level where woman already has. Matra Shakti already has, I mean to say. So what I mean here is, that's why in India we do puja. I mean, the reason why, because there is a reason why we do what we do. And in other countries, it's a woman, but here say Mata Shakti. The reason is not that you want to worship a woman. No, my dear friends. No, that's not a thing. If you go to a temple, suppose, I mean, just give you an example, okay? Suppose that at your home with your mother, your sister, with your all Mata Shakti, or your wife, or anyone whom you have all kind of relationship with, if you behave badly with them, and you begin to visit temples of a Mata temple, you go there, take a bow before a Mata, which you should do, kindly, you should do good, do that. But if you behave badly at home, what is this? Is it gonna bring some result to you in your life? I may choose not to visit a temple of Ma Durga Ji, let's say that. I behave very nicely with my mother. Even though at their fault, I'm not there to kind of become abusive to them. No, I can deal with them sensibly, not to create karma with mother and sister and wife. No, I don't have to. I can be patient and deal with them differently. Even they may not be very nice people to deal with. So I'm being very practical here. I'm talking about a man here. I know Adi Shakti do not have to listen to all these, but I'm talking about men here. A man must be very careful dealing with women, dealing with Mata Shakti. So you may go on the mountainous terrain and seek blessing. Good, do that. I'm not saying that. Please do that. But if you behave badly back at home, just women based on what they do and say bad things about them, then things will not be okay. Kundalini awakening will not happen. Kundalini awakening will not happen ever. Even you will not have very harmonious life. You will lead a very life with full of tragedy. So why I'm telling what I'm telling is, you must realize the importance of this this part of us, and this part is half of us. Women can also incorporate that part too, because we complement each other, don't we? Yes, we do. But if one is totally full of vigor, but there's no emotions, it's like you see the wheel, but the wheel does not have that cortical, the grease. It will just break. I mean, how you move, there is oil right on your knees, right? That's why the knee replacement happened. And there's a pain in the knee. Why? Because the oil is not there, right? If I could say it rightly. I mean, I don't know what the grease, what it is. If that is not there, you won't be able to run. The engine is there, the petrol is not there. You see? That's why it is very significant for a man never to judge a woman. Who knows, they can cleanse you of many karmic debt. Women has that power. It's like crash course. So all men who wants to be really smart to cleanse off, they're smart at creating more attachment. But if you want to kind of release all the attachment and become really spiritually involved, then they must respect women without any judgment, to be honest with you. It doesn't mean that they should go and create a harmony and create a kind of friendship. No, they don't have to do that. They can just avoid. They can be far from those kind of people, from those kind of, I mean, to say, you understand that. What I mean to say is, by the power of words, if the power of word is misused for women, it creates much more bigger karma. It can be addressed, especially when it comes to men. So it is important. I mean, it's all about how you want your life to be. If you are on the path of spirituality, that's what the matter is. Of course, you have to use your sense and logic, but it is very important that it is not about any women outside of you, but how you can avoid it. This is what we're talking about, how you can avoid the more of karma, creating more of heap of karma, is by not using these kind of words, not casting aspersion on someone's way of life or character. Never do that. Never ever do that. It does not bring anything to a man's life. What is most important is if we come on some term, and that term is this yin and yang, like the harmony in between. So if you find a person who is really peaceful, you should know that the person is very sorted. It means that there is a balance. There is a balance of these two opposite forces. If there is no balance of these opposite forces, you can say the person is totally distracted, the person is totally disoriented, disorganized. You can see his life and actually come to this conclusion, to be honest with you. Yes, you can come to this conclusion. And I'm telling you, 90% you'll find it correct. But if you see the person is very sorted, very organized, very systematic, you will see that he must really work on himself and has come to some level where he's okay with the presence of a woman, no matter how the woman is, and he's elevated. He has much more prospect towards making a spiritual growth than a person otherwise. So, of course, women is the most significant. Women, Matra Shakti is a grace. That grace is very important. That grace is significant. The grace is everything, without which nothing can move. Grace is also grease. Without that oil, that the ornament, nothing is possible. So if you really want to turn the wheel around of your life, what you need is the grace, and grace is of that Divine Mother.
Thank you very much, Sant Shri Naamdeo Maharaj. There are a few more questions, but I'm not going to ask any more now. Sorry for any one of those. We will take these questions in the next session with Naamdeo Maharaj, which will be on next Saturday, where the topic would be I, the conscious. Once again, thank you very much Shri, for joining with us and blessing us and enlightening us with your divine words. I'm sure many of us would have been benefited out of all these. We will have more sessions with Shri Naamdeo Ji Maharaj later on. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I'm not opening up the door for anyone to interact with him because of the time pressure we have. So we will take sorry here right now with all of you so that we can end the session on time. Thank you very much, and thank you Shansri once again for joining with us. Thank you very much. And now let us move quickly towards Shanti part. Can I request Prachi ji to do the Shanti part quickly, please?
जी सुभाष जी शांति पाठ हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो शांति शांतिमय शांत शांति शांति जन शांति हो पूर्ण शांतिमय शांत हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर दूर हो सर्व अशांत देव सदा फल शांतिमय शांति शांति सुख शांत सद्गुरुदेव की जय.
Thank you very much, Prachi ji, for this peace prayer, Shanti Path. And here we come with the end of this particular session. Please do not forget to meditate on a daily basis and submit your report. You may have been able to see the reports on the website. Please let us know if there is any question or anything later on the WhatsApp group or otherwise individually. Thank you very much. Have a nice time ahead. Have a nice Sunday. Take care of yourself. Remain safe and healthy. Jai Sadgurudev.